Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with the shape of you.
It's important to be present, not just looking back, not just seeing my experiences life from back then, but being able to read your life through these new things. So I chose purposely 3 contemporary songs, and Ed Sheeran, I was like the same thing. I was thinking, how on earth can I do this? It means nothing to who I am now. I remember when I was going to clubs and, you know, and feeling that frisson, that sexiness, that wonderful feeling when you first connect with a person. So I knew that already, but I was looking for something else. I was looking for something that really connected me, and I found it in the lyrics, way down. He throws away a line and he says, "Put on Van the Man, follow my lead." And then I realized he's listening to Van Morrison, and that was all I needed to know, because if he's listening to Van Morrison, then what he's listening to is a guy like all British people or so many British artists who grew up listening to Black American music and listening to Stax and to Philly sound and to Motown, and listening to incredible R&B and jazz, and that really told me that I was going to do a female version of this song that was influenced by like the Raylettes and Ray Charles, and that feeling of that sensuous, really like gutsy female singers. And that's really what inspired me, because that's what I grew up loving and listening to, and who I wanted to be. So that was easy. I went from the minute, not easy, but the minute I saw the connection, that was okay.
Put on Van the Man now, I follow my lead. Put on Van the Man now, I follow my lead. Put on Van the Man now, I follow my lead. I got sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I got hot blood in my body when it drops. Oh no, and I can't take my eyes off it. Moving so phenomenally, room on lock the way we rock it. So don't stop, 'cause under the lights, when everything goes, nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. And when we move, you already know. So just imagine. I can't stop the feeling. Can't stop the feeling. Can't stop the feeling. Can't stop the feeling. So I keep on dancing.
And with Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling, again, about the joy and the sexiness and the heat of dancing and being with a person you love. I mean, again, it's sort of like, okay, that's something I absolutely know and have experienced myself. But something about those words reminded me, because I have an overactive imagination. That's what it takes to be a writer, believe me. And it reminded me of when I was a kid, and like we all do, and I've done it to this day, and we all do it, whether we're children or adults, whatever age, you put the headphones on and you're transported. And it doesn't matter how bad your life feels or how awful you feel, you're taken to another place. And if you're me and you're 8 years old, you're dancing like a lunatic, or 10 or whatever, like a fool, just going crazy. And I was thinking that I was the star, and I was loved, and I was the person doing this, and that's who I was, and and it was a fantasy world, and it saved my life. And it took me out of at the time, the sadness and the scariness and all that all the darkness that was already starting in me. And so those words from Can't Stop the Feeling really are about that, me as a child, and for all of us who escape into that fantasy world, because it is the thing that saves us all, and so that's why it sounds very church. It sounds very gospel, because it is. Music to me is religion. It's a religious thing. So I think that's another big change is the sound of that song.
I can't stop the feeling. So dance, I can't stop the feeling. So I dance. Yes, I keep on dancing. You used to call me on my cell phone late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone late night when you need my love. 'Cause I know when that hotline bling, that can only mean one thing. I know when that hotline bling.
And Drake, well, I said to my husband, what's the most ridiculously extreme song that I could do? What would shock everyone? And he didn't even, not a beat, Matt. He was like, bang, and he just said, Drake, Hotline Bling. And he played it to me, and I'd heard it, but I didn't know it that well. And I thought immediately, ooh, that could be... I like going opposite. I like going exactly opposite to the way it sounds. So I immediately went to something very classical and cinematic, almost like Eric Satie and a kind of gymnopedies kind of feeling. And I knew the song, even though it's about, again, it's about like his girlfriend's having sex with somebody else and she's not calling. It's so many of these songs are about being on the phone. It's like Hotline Bling and hot stuff. I mean, it's just really interesting. But I knew that it's that one-sidedness. That was it. It was about being in a one-sided relationship where you're waiting forever. You're waiting forever for the phone to ring. And it hardly ever does. And when it does, it's because you're the last one on the list. But, but that song of all songs, is kind of heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And I love taking these songs and just turning them on their heads.
Running out of pages in your passport, hanging with some girls I've never seen before. So call me on my cell phone. 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 Call me on my cell phone when you need my love.